And we are live. It is a Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Nobody's here yet, Elliot, but we're going to do this anyway, regardless.
Regardless.
That's right. So how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm all right. Hanging in.
Good. Before we get into the heavy football talk, what a day in the NBA last night.
Oh, you mean the Kyrie Irving swap?
Yes, the Kyrie Irving swap for IT, Channing Crowder, and some
guy named Zizic, and the Brooklyn Nets unprotected first round
draft pick.
So if Brooklyn finishes last, which they just might,
right?
Then they get the number one. They're close to the number one pick.
They're going to get a really high draft pick.
All that for Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
I actually think the Cavaliers got better.
I do too. Hang on a second. This thing's twisting on me.
But Boston's pretty good now too.
Cramping up my style. All right. Yeah, I think the Cavs made out real well. I think
Boston didn't hurt themselves.
No, Boston didn't hurt themselves. Yeah, they got a good deal out of it too. I mean, Kyrie's gonna be expected to be the man now, though. That's just it.
That's the whole thing. Is that when you're the man, there's a lot of expectation on you. Why do you think people be dogging LeBron all the time?
Right.
Because he's the man, and if he doesn't produce the way the man needs to. Up until this year, that's the way people looked at Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly.
But you see, I still won't call Kevin Durant the man because he had to go play with a bunch of other superstars to get his title.
Correct.
You see? And if people say, oh, well, what about when LeBron went to Miami? Yeah, Miami only had two guys.
Yeah.
Golden State had 3 All-Stars.
Yes.
Okay? So enough with the comparisons. You know
well, there's not, and Cleveland has Chris Bosh as well. Okay. They could be getting Dwayne Wade, too, from what I hear. The possibility not Chris Bosh, I'm sorry. What's his face they picked up from the Knicks? He used to play for Chicago. I can't think of his name. He's always hurt, but he's a power forward.
Noah?
No. Hang on a second. Damn it. They signed him in the offseason as a free agent. I forgot his name.
From the Knicks?
Yes.
Got me on that one, but then again, it's like basketball is like a little distant memory right now. Considering it's like right down the middle between the end of the season and the beginning of the next one.
Yeah. Who's here? John Olsen is here. If he wants to come up, he's more than welcome to come on up.
But that was a blockbuster, for sure.
Yes. I'm sorry. Derrick Rose was the other guy I was talking about. They got Derrick Rose, too.
Well, that doesn't mean shit. Now that they got Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose is irrelevant.
Yeah, but they also could be getting Dwayne Wade, is what I'm saying, is because Chicago may buy him out.
You know what? Dwayne Wade's he's slowed down considerably.
Yes, he did.
He's past his usefulness stage.
Okay, all right. Oh, John's feeding the baby. Isn't that nice?
Is he feeding the baby? Not breastfeeding, I hope.
I hope he's not breastfeeding. Yeah, I mean, it was a big deal for Cleveland last night. It was the only. I mean, it overshadowed any and all football talk today on all the sports talks I was listening to. I had listened to Mike and Mike, and then I was listening to the Stu Gotts show and at work, and it was the main topic of conversation.
When you have two legit stars go back and forth, because I'm Isaiah Thomas is legit. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Boston might have overpaid for Kyrie Irving.
Well, here's the deal. The 3 players that the Cavaliers got in that trade, their salaries combined were less than Kyrie Irving's.
Let me shut this thing up.
Yeah, I agree, John. Crowder is slick. Crowder's a good player, and he's an underrated player. I think he's a really good player.
Yeah,
and then they get a high draft pick next
that
year.
That draft pick will be the number 1 overall pick.
I think it will be
provided
too.
the balls bounce correctly for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, there's just no two ways about that. But I don't know, man. Is it enough to overcome Golden State at this point?
I don't know. That's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get to that, but I don't know. I mean, they got really two really good players. And they got some other pieces that are in place, but who knows? I mean, the Warriors are the Warriors, but you could pencil the Cavaliers in for the finals again next year.
Well, I don't know, because again, Boston, they gave up a couple of players and a draft pick, but they helped themselves a lot.
Yeah, but the thing with it is,
with Hayward and Irving. Yeah,
but Boston is very, very young. Kyrie's used to an older mentor type player playing, taking the slack, and I don't know that Kyrie can step into that role as being the man. They're small. Exactly, John's right. They are small. They don't have a lot of size. I don't know that Boston can compete with the Cavaliers. What I think Boston is doing is they are preparing themselves with this young team for when LeBron leaves the Eastern Conference, whether he leaves after next season or he stays in Cleveland until he retires.
So please don't tell me you're saying part 4 of Golden State and Cleveland is going to happen.
Yes, it is. I'm telling you.
Yes. That's one of the reasons the NBA is starting to get old in my book.
Yes, of course.
I used to be able to watch it. Now I can't stand it when my son plays NBA 2K18. Speaking of video games.
Did you get it? Oh, you got it. Nice.
Madden 18, baby.
Have you played it yet?
I played a few of the like the challenges, the solo challenges. Yeah. I'm building my Madam Ultimate Team, the Mutt Squad.
The Mutt Squad.
But it's actually, I like it. I like it well. It plays well. So, and the weird thing about it is my son loves it, and he's not even into football that much.
Nice.
Yeah, not nice. He freaking hijacked my disc, yo. I can't play my own damn game. I'm gonna have to go over there and get him one just so he leave mine the hell alone.
I'm debating if I should go out when I get my next paycheck, because it's going to have 2 full weeks of 13 hours of each week overtime. And maybe I should invest in either an Xbox or a PS4 and get back into playing Madden again, because I loved playing that one back in the day. I'm debating though.
Yeah, I like the Xbox one. The Xbox is definitely.
The only reason why I'm
especially now, the Xbox is coming out with a 4K player, right?
No, I didn't know that for the 4K TV. I've got a 4K
game too.
And I've got a 4K TV coming my way by Christmas time. So for my father, so it might be something I might look into doing.
It's called the Xbox One X.
What's the retail on it? $300-400?
$499.
Jesus Christ, $500. That's a lot.
Start saving your pennies, yo. Start saving those pennies. Because I'm getting one.
I got a car to pay for, brother. I don't know. I got a new car to pay for.
I got 2 cars to pay for, and I don't even work. So you just gotta find a way to manage or drop your change here and there. You know what I'm saying?
I did that with the TV, with the cable thing. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, my cable's probably going to drop down to about $100 a month.
Once that shit goes 4K, dude.
Yeah.
All bets are off with everything else. You know what I'm saying? I'm so looking forward to that. Plus, I got a 4K TV sitting right here.
Yeah.
That I haven't been able to fully utilize because I don't have a 4K system.
Right.
So it's going to be delicious, to say the least.
All right, he's ready.
It's going to be a scrumptious holiday.
Yeah, he's ready to come up. Here we go.
He coming on?
Yes, he is.
Make sure he puts his bra on before he comes.
Too funny. But yeah, the basketball stories outshined everything else that was going on in the sports world today. What's up, Mr. Olson? Oh, look at this.
Oh,
like,
look at
bawling
you.
his eyes out. So I'm like trying to play like daddy while like listening to you guys.
Oh,
Did you buy your copy of Dr. Spock?
What happened?
Did you buy a copy of Dr. Spock?
Dr. Spock? What the shit are you talking about?
He's like the baby genius. Yeah,
Well, he's a different generation. He's never heard of Dr. Spock.
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
And that has nothing to do with Star Trek, John.
Maddie!
Yeah, no, that would be Mr. Spock.
Yes.
There's a difference. So, but yeah, I mean, basketball had to be the talk when that kind of a trade goes down. Everything else comes to a standstill.
Give me a sec. I gotta clean him out. So let me drop off because this kid's gonna bawl his eyes out. So I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay. Here's another one. I heard a question the other day. Well, I'm gonna transition over to baseball really quick. You know the Dodgers are like 800 games above 500, right?
Yes, I know. Yeah, their magic number is like 17 or some shit, and it's late August.
A month and a half to go.
Yeah, right.
They got a 20-something game lead over the second place team.
Yeah.
But somebody was saying the other day, is anybody going to touch or beat the Dodgers or, and I'm like, well, yeah, when the playoffs show up, because you know what? No matter how big a season the Dodgers have ever had, once the playoffs come, they wind up losing.
Kershaw.
They wind up getting swept or something like that.
Kershaw folds in the playoffs, just like what's his face in Boston.
Well, Kershaw's hurt now too.
Yep.
Okay. They went out and got Yu Darvish. He's hurt now.
Yeah. They do have injuries right now that are going to hurt them. Yes, absolutely.
And they're going to catch up with you after a while.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, I mean, the Dodgers are basically running away with the National League's best record, plain and simple.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's going to catch them, not this season. And if records rolled over, it'd be a couple seasons before anybody caught them. But but they're putting a serious assault on that 116 win season that Seattle put forth back in the early 2000s. Was it?
Yeah. Like 97 was when they won 102 or 103 games or some shit like that, and they got beat by the Yankees in the playoffs.
No, that was 116, and it was after that. It was in the 90s. I think it was 98.
97.
97.
Yeah.
97 is when Sandy Alomar eliminated the Yankees against Mariano Rivera. Okay, I remember that distinctly. But yeah, I think it was 98. I think that was the year they beat the Braves. Seattle won 116 games, which is weird because the Yankees, I think, what was it, 90? No, actually, you know what? It might have been 99 or 2000 because Yankees in 98 won the 114 games, was it?
Right now.
They went 112. They went 112 and 50, I think it was. But I mean,
it was the 2001 Mariners.
Right.
They were 116 and 46 is where they went.
Yeah. And the Yankees were like 112 and 50 a few years before that.
Yep.
Like in 98 or 99. One of those 2 years. I think it was 98. It was the year they beat San Diego, was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was the year they beat San Diego. I think they lost one game in the playoffs in the World Series. I mean, this team was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay. The Dodgers will probably wind up winning the best record overall and probably breaking that 116 game wins. But again, it's kind of like what Seattle did all those years ago. They piled up the best record in the league, the best record ever, and then once they got into the playoffs, they got solved.
Yes.
By the Yankees.
Yes. Well, the Yankees had a bad habit of doing that in the playoffs in the 90s, so it's all good. And the early 2000s. That's how they roll. But the Dodgers haven't won anything yet. I mean, they haven't. I mean, they can win every single game the rest of the season. but they can easily get beat in the playoffs. They got 2 series to get to the World Series, and they still could lose the World Series too. So, the Yankees are favored as much as the Cubs were this time last year.
And playoffs is a different animal than the regular.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're getting fat off beating, terrible teams like the Mets and, you know what I'm saying, the Marlins.
San Francisco was really bad this year too.
San Francisco's awful. San Diego isn't much better.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And even the teams that are contending with them, how can you call them contenders if they're 20-plus games out?
Right. Right.
But they're getting beat too. So another interesting thing was talk about your Jekyll and Hyde seasons. Aaron Judge. Yes. Okay. First half before
your man, your boy. That's your boy right there.
I'm gonna call him out just like he's supposed to be called out at this point. Okay. He goes and he sets all kinds of records in the beginning and he's doing great. This and that. Now he's like batting 160 since the All-Star game. He broke the record for most. And by the way, last night for the first time, Girardi finally moved him out of the 3 spot and put him in the cleanup. And his 37 strikeout streak came to an end. Yes. All he had to do was move him.
Yeah, but three of those at bats were walks. He only swung at 1 ball and missed. And then Girardi took him out late in the game when he would have had another at bat. So, it was a match.
I tell you what, they need to have J-Lo and A-Rod talk to Aaron Judge the way they talk to Gary Sanchez. Ever since Sanchez had that lunch with J-Lo and A-Rod, he's been on fire, dude. I don't know what the hell. For all I know, they probably had a threesome or something, and he just got on fire or something, man.
John, what's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, I'm just here.
Okay. He hit the second longest home run of the season last night.
Yeah.
493 feet.
Jesus.
And why can't Cleveland beat Boston?
I don't know. I don't know. When, you know what? They'll beat them in the playoffs more than likely because they can't beat them in the regular season, so they'll end up beating them in the playoffs.
We've seen that story before.
Yep.
Up 3-1 on Boston and then wind up losing 3 straight.
Yeah, well.
I don't trust Cleveland when they play Boston in the playoffs.
Just like you don't trust the Yankees when they play Boston either.
Or not football. Why are you talking about baseball? Who gives a shit?
Well, we're getting ready to get into football.
Oh, we're going to get into football. Don't worry.
But there was a couple of highlights that I wanted to talk about as far as baseball goes, especially with Dodgers looking to break this season wins record and the total Jekyll and Hyde performance by Aaron Judge to this point.
That's pretty bad.
Is, I think, newsworthy.
Yes.
So, but, there's still a month and a half of baseball left. Everything is still up in the air except for the National League West. I think that one's pretty much sewn up. And the National League East as well. I think the Nationals have that one pretty much wrapped up too. So, all right. Well, then why don't we talk some football?
Let's do it.
Hey, look at John's face lit up like a Christmas.
All light up and stuff.
But yet he's wearing a Raptors hat.
Well, it's NBA news and everything, man. I mean,
hey,
but the Raptors didn't make any news. So
you see where Chad Henne is going to start their Jags next preseason game, which happens to be.
Hold on.
All right, which happens.
First is a baby, now it's a puppy.
Yeah, Chad Henne is going to start for the Jaguars on their third preseason, which is normally the one where the starters play most of the game.
That to me sounds like a parallel move.
Yeah,
from Blake Bortles to Chad Henne.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
The two of them can't even combine to be one good quarterback.
That's true.
Okay, but I hear DeShone Kizer is starting on Saturday.
Yes, he is. DeShone Kizer will start.
Impressive the other day.
Yeah, he did. He looked pretty good. Yeah, so Kizer will start.
Yeah, although Brock Osweiler is still going to be a starter. You know that.
Shut up.
All I know is that there was a bunch of panicked people, and now do you know why I save fantasy drafts for late
He's got a big ball.
like almost before the season starts.
Yes.
You should see how many people in my news feed were freaking wigging out over the possibility that Odell Beckham was done. Because they already had their fantasy drafts and they picked them with like their third pick or their fourth pick.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
he probably will not play week 1. They don't know he's going to be ready for week 1, but we'll see.
No, he's not going to practice this week. He'll be ready for week 1.
Okay.
He'll be ready for week 1. They just don't need to play him the rest of the preseason.
Yeah, well, they're not going to risk him getting re-injuring that ankle with the preseason either way, whether he's ready to go or not. So that's why he's not going to play.
No, and the thing is that, I mean, it looked scary for a little while there.
Yeah.
It looked really scary, but. So I hear Le'Veon Bell is going to report on September 1st to the Steelers, I guess.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
That holdout, that franchise tag thing is maybe coming to an end. I don't know. Well,
he's going to play for the franchise tag this year regardless. And the thing of it is, he's going to get paid. The Steelers are going to pay him, or he's going to walk. He's going to go somewhere else after the season.
I got a feeling he's going to walk next season, because you got to remember, Ben Roethlisberger is not getting any younger.
No, he's not.
You see, and I don't see anybody in that mix in Steeler land, okay, that's going to step in.
It's not going to be Landry Jones, I'll tell you that much.
Well, he's not even there anymore, is he?
Yes, he is. He's still the backup. Yeah.
Dude, it's horrible.
He might as well not be.
He's got to be the worst quarterback in history.
Well, I don't know.
No, John. There's 27. There's 27 quarterbacks that have played for the Browns since '99. At least one of them guys were the worst.
You ever heard of Charlie Whitehurst?
Yeah, no, like as a fantasy football player, and having Antonio Brown on your team, and then Landry Jones is throwing him the ball, it's horrible. It's absolutely the worst experience in life. So
I think Blake Bortles is pretty bad too.
Yeah, Blake Bortles is up there. How are you going to lose your starting job to Chad Henne? I mean,
Chad Henne. He's like, I didn't even know he was still in the league, much less alive.
It's like Chad Pennington,
right?
Chad Henne, Pennington, which one?
Henne.
No, I know.
Yeah. No.
Hennigan.
Chad Pennington's your age, John.
What happened?
Chad Pennington's getting close to being your age.
I know, I'm so old. I am old, actually. I feel old.
Well, that's because you're being kept up at night by a baby. That's why.
There's two guys 10 plus years his senior sitting in the same camera feed with him.
I can't wait to turn 50 just to be like you guys.
But then we'll be 60.
Exactly.
Then come 60. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need the clock. You know what? Stay young, dude, because I don't need my clock to move any faster than I need.
Exactly. I'm with you there.
Stay young. But anyway, what I thought we'd do tonight is put in our predictions for who's going to do what this season, record-wise, division, where they're going to end up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start with what's the worst division in football?
The
AFC South?
No. Well, maybe. That or the AFC East. Even the Patriots are there. They got nobody else in that division.
Well, that's not the worst division. It's just the division that's dominated by one team.
That's the most lopsided division, I guess you could say. AFC South, you could probably put that as the worst division because, I mean, although I do think Tennessee is going to win that division going away.
I tell you what, let's start from the bottom up. How's that?
Okay.
We'll go NFC West. All right. And we'll start out with the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, what have they got? They got Jared Goff. They got Gurley.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, they picked up Sammy Watkins. Yeah, Mr. Injury himself. Is he on the IR yet?
Probably. I haven't heard anything from him since he got traded. They are whatever. So.
Oh, just to shift gears real quick, Donald Penn, I guess, signed with Oakland. They cleared up their contract dispute.
Did that good.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, but
Look,
the guy from LA, the Rams hasn't signed yet. He's still holding out, right?
Yeah.
They're big defenses. I think a defensive lineman or offensive lineman.
Arnold, I think his name is, or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Aaron Donald, right?
Aaron Donald. There you go.
Okay. Look, if the Rams can't fix that offensive line, because Gurley took a major dip.
Yes, he did.
Don't you think, John?
He did a huge dip, man. Yeah.
I mean, especially in fantasy, he took a major.
Well, he was he was like QB1 or running back number 1 or 2 off the board last year. I mean,
yeah.
Well, yeah, one of the guys in our league last year took him at number 3 or 4. Derek took Todd Gurley and he screwed him the entire season.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, you know, they got Jared Goff. He's still not proven anything. They got Watkins, some guy named, what's his name? Cooper Kupp.
Cooper
Kupp. I'm hearing some big things about that kid.
Got Robert Woods too.
Yeah, Robert Woods. So they got the Buffalo wide receiver.
Buffalo wide receiving core from last year is over there now. Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, I think the Rams are only slightly better than the 49ers in that division.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, considering the Niners are talking about Brian Hoyer as their starting quarterback out there. And Niners are, first-year coach Mike Shanahan. They might go after what's his face?
Brian Hoyer kill it with Cleveland one year or a couple years?
Yeah, Hoyer is. Yeah, he's actually a Cleveland boy too. He actually played pretty well for the Browns when he was there. Won a couple of good games for them, but he went to Tennessee where he languished in Tennessee, and now he's in LA.
Their kicker took a dive too, Greg Zuerlein.
Yes,
he was awful last season. Terrible. But I think the Rams finished third in that division. What do you think?
I say third, just above the Niners. I think Shanahan's going to have some growing pains. He's going to go after Kirk Cousins in the offseason. And if the Niners get Kirk Cousins, it might be the boost they're looking for, but they still need more weapons than just quarterback in San Francisco.
They got nothing. I mean, they got really nothing.
Yeah.
You know, Carlos Hyde is still not proven. You know what I'm saying? They got some kid named Joe Williams, I guess, there just in case Hyde collapses. But yeah, I got a feeling they're going to finish probably third in that division. And what do you got? What do you think their record's going to be this year, John? The Rams.
Sorry, I'm going back and forth and muting you guys because the kid's starting to cry. So, Rams 4-12,
huh?
5-11.
I'm writing these down for you, by the way.
5-11.
5-11, yeah. Huh? You know, I was kind of leaning in that direction, but I don't know. You know what? I'm going to say they go. I'm going to go with 5-11 as well, because they got the ability to beat San Francisco twice. All right, so 5-11. Obviously, that's going to be the third place finish because we're reserving last place for the 49ers, correct? The 49ers don't have much to work with. Is Phil Dawson still their kicker? Isn't he like 90 by now?
Phil Dawson is not the kicker in San Francisco. I think he's actually in Houston.
So he moved to Houston.
So.
Huh? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at where San Francisco's at here. Okay, so oh, good. They won't show the freaking roster. Oh, here it is. Okay, so If you look at the 49ers, they weren't actually putrid. I mean, they had the 9th most points in the league last year. I think it was more their rushing being 14th, right down the middle. Kicker. Where's the kicker at? Oh, here we go. Kicker. Nick Rose. Who the hell is that?
Never heard of him.
Okay, kicker. Robbie Gould. Okay. That's who they're kicking.
Robbie Gould.
Robbie Gould.
Former Bears kicker.
Yeah. Now, last year, the 49ers finished with what kind of record? I think they were 2-14. No, they won 4 games, didn't they? 4-12.
I think they were 2-14 because the Browns, the Browns were neck and neck going into the last couple of weeks of the season as to who was going to have the number 1 overall pick, and the Browns ended up getting that because they went 1-15. But I think the Niners were 2-14 last year. I mean, they may win 1 or 2 more games. I don't think they will, but it is what it is.
I'm going with 2-14 again. I just don't think right now they have the nucleus quarterback-wise. Defense, the 49ers really were crushed as a contender when all those defensive players retired or got injured and stuff like that a couple years back. It was just a tough hit for them.
I agree.
Very tough hit. So, yeah, I'm putting them last. What record you got?
I'm going to go 3-13.
3-13. Okay, you're being optimistic for the 49ers, huh? All right, now, here's where I think you might have a bit of a coin toss. Arizona and Seattle.
I'm still not. Carson Palmer is a wild card in this mix. He's old. He gets hit one time, and the Cardinals are done. They don't.
But Russell Wilson wasn't exactly a stellar performer last year.
But a hobbling Russell Wilson is much better than a hobbled Carson Palmer.
Well, see, here's the thing with Carson Palmer. He's got a guy in the backfield named David Johnson. So he tends to buffer some of those mistakes that Carson Palmer might make.
So you're saying Eddie Lacy isn't comparable to David Johnson then? Is it Eddie Lacy in Seattle?
Yeah. You got Eddie Lacy, C.J. Procise, you got Thomas Rawls. They don't know what they're doing as far as running backs.
And they don't have an offensive line in Seattle either, so they didn't do anything to address the offensive line this offseason. And their receiver coach, Tyler Lockett's coming back from a broken leg, so nobody knows what's going to happen with him. I think Doug Baldwin and Jimmy Graham, they eat well this season from Russell. They even got that kid Paul Richardson as well. He's pretty damn good. And they have a new kicker, don't they? Hauschka moved to didn't Hauschka move to Buffalo or something like that? I'm not sure where Hauschka went. I don't think he's in Seattle anymore. I think you're correct on that.
Yeah, no, he's not in Seattle anymore. I know that for a fact. But now in Arizona, you got David Johnson, backed up by Chris Johnson. Then you got Fitzgerald coming back. And usually Fitzgerald's Fitzgerald, you know what I'm saying? J.J. Nelson and John Brown.
Which John Brown disappointed me last year. I thought he'd do better last year.
Well, he had something going on physically, health-wise. Okay. So he's supposed to have a bounce back this year. Hey, what's the record for the 49ers this year?
6-10.
6-10, huh? You're giving Brian Hoyer that much love?
Giving my boy Marquise Goodwin love.
Goodwin.
Goodwin.
Okay. Now we're debating between Seattle and Arizona as far as who takes that division.
Yeah, that's what me and my kid talk about all the time. That's literally what we talked about all yesterday.
Matty's a Cardinals fan. He likes the Cardinals. So
yeah. I think Seattle. Wins. Carson's just too old.
I think Seattle wins mostly because playing up there in Seattle is no piece of cake for anybody.
Yep.
And the only thing that I can see as being a problem for Seattle is if Wilson gets injured again, or what the conundrum that they got going on in the backfield, because they don't even know who they're going to freaking play solid in that backfield.
Lacey, Rawls.
They got Lacey, they got Rawls, and they got Prosise.
Yeah.
And right now, people are talking about Prosise might be the one that, after the dust settles, winds up being the guy. Because he played really well till he got injured last season. They got a pretty good wide receiver core with Kirsch and Baldwin and Paul Richardson. I was just telling Scott about that guy. He's pretty damn good. You know, you got Jimmy Graham still at the tight end. And their defense, I don't know if they're the Legion of Boom anymore, but they still got a legit. And Earl Thomas is coming back. So that's definitely going to bolster their defense.
Well, again,
I would say,
like I said, Seattle's weakness is its offensive line, because they didn't do anything to address it in the offseason, like you and I talked about, either through free agency or the draft. I think they drafted a couple of offensive linemen late in the draft, but they really haven't done anything to bolster the offensive line. And Russell Wilson was running for his life last year, and he ended up having.
And he'll be running for his life again this year.
And, you know, he sprained that ankle. He really wasn't great in the middle of the season. So they have to have if their offensive line can't protect them, then Arizona wins that division, because Russell Wilson will be on the sidelines for the rest of the year, maybe with an injury.
See, but I'm counting on the fact that at some point in time, like both of y'all have mentioned, Carson Palmer and his geriatric self will wind up on the sideline.
Another ACL or shoulder.
Whatever it is.
And I think ageless wonder Larry is going to take a step back this year too.
Fitzgerald?
He's old.
He will if Carson Palmer isn't the quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I can tell you that right now. But me, I got the Cardinals going 10-6, and I'm going to go 12-4 with Seattle.
I'm going to go 11-5 for Seattle. 10-6 sounds about right for Arizona.
And John?
Say 9-7 for the Cardinals. 10-6 for.
Ooh, so you're looking at a lackluster performance out of the NFC West this year.
Yeah, it's kind of meh.
No domination. I don't know. I just think that at some point, that Seattle defense playing up there in Seattle, they're going to win at least 7 games at home this year. And I can see them winning a few on the road as well. 12-4 might be a bit optimistic, but they can easily take 6 games in that division from the competition: San Francisco, the Rams, and even the Cardinals.
True.
I don't know if they can beat Cardinals in Arizona, but they'll definitely beat them at home.
Well, actually, Arizona's beat them in Seattle twice the last 2 seasons. Arizona seems to play well up there for some reason. But they can't beat them in Arizona. So we'll see how that pans out. All right. Next division up is the NFC South.
This is going to be an exciting division this year, guys.
You know, it is.
It's going to.
I think it's going to.
It's going to be a 3-team race, but the 4th team's going to make it interesting. Okay.
Wait a minute. What do you mean 3-team race?
I think it will be.
I think all 4 teams have a shot of.
I don't think New Orleans has a shot of winning that division at all. I don't. I have no. I
don't say winning the division.
I have no. I have no faith in New Orleans making a dent in a playoff run whatsoever, whether it be winning the division or getting a wild card. They will make it interesting because of the ability of Drew Brees in his arm. That much I agree. But the other 3 teams, and you can plug and play any one of those 3 teams, and you can to win the division. And you wouldn't be making it. It won't be a stretch. I think the Bucs win the division because of how they reloaded in the offseason. I think Carolina comes back and has a better year this year, so long as Cam's shoulder holds up. I think Atlanta actually may finish 3rd in that division because of the Super Bowl hangover, and they don't have Mike Shanahan anymore.
Kyle
Shanahan. Excuse me, Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, nobody wants Mike.
Nobody wants Mike either. Yeah.
His own son don't even want to.
Right. But, so I think the Bucs are probably the favorite to win that division with the weapons they've added in the offseason. Jameis is a year more mature. He's going to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL this year. He's been rumored to be top. He's even in the MVP discussion at this point, even though it's early. People are talking about him as the MVP. I'm not going to be high on the Bucs. Because every time I do that, they disappoint me. But I'm saying the Bucs will probably win that division.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the Bucs, what they did is that they had pretty good defense last year. I think they bolstered that just slightly, but that offense is going to be deadly. Yeah. If they can find somebody now, I know that Doug Martin is going to be out the first 3 games.
I think so. I don't know, and they don't have very much behind them, but they've got a couple of speedy.
Well, they got Quiz Rogers and Charles.
Right, they did. So they had some flashes of greatness last year, but. I'm concerned about Doug Martin and his durability. Really am.
The guns. I mean, the weapons that whatchamacallit has this season, Jameis Winston. Yeah. They're going to be running a lot of 2 tight ends with Cameron Brate and what's his name, Njoku.
O.J. Howard.
Was it Njoku?
O.J. Howard.
O.J. Howard.
They got O.J. Howard. Okay. So Howard and Brate are going to be running crazy out there, along with Deshaun Jackson.
Mike Evans,
Big Mike,
John Jackson,
right? And they got rid of Robert Aguayo, so that ought to improve their.
Yeah, Nick Folk's a kicker now. Yes.
I think he cost them a couple games last year,
didn't he? Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that could have been a very different story last year. They probably would have made the playoffs if it wasn't for Aguayo.
It's possible.
But see, the thing that I worry about with the Falcons, they got the new stadium and this. But I think that Super Bowl hangover from that loss is going to kill them.
Yeah, I think so too. It did. That's what it did in Carolina last year.
I think psychologically, I don't think Atlanta, and I think Matt Ryan. Look, Matt Ryan's been in the league how many years now?
10. It's his 10th season, I think.
10. And last year was his best year ever.
He was the MVP last year.
Right. I don't expect him to reach the numbers that he reached last year.
He's still got the same weapons.
I see him taking a step back. Yeah, but you see, that's just it. All you got to do is watch the New England tape from the Super Bowl
over and over and over.
You can figure out what Atlanta's up to.
Yeah. Well, then again, like I said,
watch that second half tape.
Yeah, well, like I said again last year, earlier, they don't have Kyle Shanahan running the offense this year. That's going to be a problem because it's not going to be exactly the same offense.
But then again, it was the Kyle Shanahan that was a problem and why they lost, because they should have been running the ball more in that second half against New England.
Well, if the defense would have stood up and stopped New England once or twice, they wouldn't have to worry about it. They had their defense got gassed late.
They got gassed.
Because New England kept running out and dinking and dunking it down the field, and it just gassed the defense totally.
Look, the defense left it all out on the field in the first half, and when they came back out on the field, it was all gone. Whatever they left on the field, it wasn't there when they came back.
Right.
Okay. As far as the Panthers go, it's all going to be dependent on how Cam bounces back this year. And as far as the Saints, when you got that high-powered of an offense, Lots of things can happen. I don't expect Adrian Peterson to be any savior,
No.
but he is going to cause a distraction for some people.
Yeah, he may.
I just don't think the Saints have the defense to stand up with the rest of the division because they're scoring teams in that division.
Yeah, now they got to deal with 3 teams that know how to that can really score a lot of points, and it's going to be a shootout in those Saints games. And the Saints may only end up winning half, if that much, of those games.
Okay, so that being the case, John, you got anything on the Saints that you want
to? For the Saints, meh. Tampa Bay takes the division. I think Saints are just Drew's getting a year older, and
yeah. And I mean, if you look at the Saints, really all they got, and I like to kind of like use fantasy as a bit of a gauge, and really all they have is Drew Brees and Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
As far as stalwart players that impact.
Yeah,
anybody. So I can see actually the Saints finishing last in that division.
I think they will finish last in that division.
So I'm going to go 7-9 with the Saints.
You're being generous. I'm going to go 6-10.
John?
8-8.
Ooh, 500. 500 for the Breester. All right, Carolina. I think McCaffrey's gonna do some stuff down there.
I think he is
Kelvin
too.
Benjamin can get his head back in the game. They might make some noise out there. And I really think that their defense is better without Josh Norman.
Any defense is better without that ego on it. I go 8-8 with Carolina.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8-8 with them as well. I just Kuechly. I can see Kuechly getting another concussion, and that'll be the end of that.
He'll cry on his way.
Somebody throw him a terrible towel.
I know, right?
Okay, John. Panthers.
Carolina. 9-7.
9-7. Okay. Now it comes down to the 2 teams. I think that's I think what Scott thinks too is the 2 teams that are going to really battle it out this year. The Falcons. Do they repeat as division champs?
No, they do not. 10-6. They may get the wild card, but they will not win the division.
You know, 10-6 sounds about right to me.
Which team?
Atlanta.
Yeah, 10-6. I say 10-6.
Yeah, I just have some reservations about that Super Bowl hangover, man. Especially the way they lost. It's not that they lost; it's the way they lost.
Yeah,
and that's just hard to bounce back from, hard to recover from. You go through all that. You play the best football I think around the league for the entire season and half the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden you just fall apart.
Yeah.
The Bucs. I'm saying 11-5 on the Bucs.
I'm going to stretch it a little further than that. I'm going to go 12-4.
Oh, you got all kinds of homey feelings about them, huh?
I think they go 12-4 too.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna give Tampa Bay some love from the north.
Some love, some juice. Might as well. They're in the orange state, right? Give them some juice. All right. Let's see what's next. So we got Tampa winning the division and the Falcons finishing second. Panthers third, and the Saints bringing up the rear. Correcto mundo?
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and move over to the NFC North, where we got the Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and Chicago Bears.
Really
Can we pencil in the Bears for last place?
Yes.
2-14 for the Bears.
I still say Howard has a great season, but the Bears are going to be terrible.
2-14, huh?
Yeah.
No trust in Mike Glennon and Victor Cruz
Or Mitchell Trubisky.
No, sir.
or Mitchell Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky. I think the Bears go 3-13 this season.
That's what I'm saying too. 3-13.
Gentlemen, I got to take off. I got to get this kid some more food, and so
Okay.
call for dipping out.
We'll get your picks later.
Quick AFC East. Buffalo last place. Okay, bye.
We ain't gonna get to the AFC today.
Worse than the Jets? Are you serious?
Yeah, worse than the Jets.
Oh my God.
That is a
I don't think so.
massive franchise.
I totally disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, well, I
Josh
hope.
McCown is the quarterback of the New York Jets, and he's got no one to throw to.
True.
Come on.
Buffalo is just a disaster, so, yeah. Okay, later, guys. See you on
All right,
Sunday.
guys. See you Sunday.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go through these next two divisions real quick, and we'll wrap up the other half next week.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Vikings, I got them finishing third.
Yeah, I do too, actually, because Bradford's still the quarterback, and I just
And I actually got them at 6-10.
Yeah, they fell apart at the second half. I mean, they started out 4 or 5-0, and they just fell apart after that. I say,
I mean, they still got defense.
yeah, I'm going to go 7-9. I don't think it'll be 6-10. I think it'll be 7-9.
Now, I'm sure we can agree that the Lions will finish behind the Packers.
Yes. I think the Lions go either. I'm going to go 9-7. I'll give them one game over 500.
I'm going to go 10-6 with the Lions. But I think the Pack comes back this year, and they don't make the mistakes they did last year. First of all, they got rid of Eddie Lacy. That was an improvement.
Right.
Okay. Ty Montgomery, I think, is going to have a phenomenal season because this is a guy that you can run out of the backfield and throw as well. Okay. They went out and they got Martellus Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, which is going to be just another great target. They got Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb. I mean, they are freaking loaded on offense.
Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers running the ball all over the place out of the pocket. He's most dangerous. He's most dangerous out of the pocket. I say Packers. I'll go 11-5 with the Pack.
I'm going 12-4.
Okay.
I think they defend Lambeau really well this season, and they play well on the road too. They like I said last year, it just seemed like they hit a funk.
I don't know. They played really well against Dallas in the playoffs, but they ran into that brick wall in Atlanta. But still,
that's because they didn't have the defense to keep up with Atlanta.
Correct. That's true. But yeah, it's that division is a one-horse race. I'm sorry, it's all Green Bay all the time, and the way it has been for the last 5 or 6 years.
Unless some catastrophic injury occurs.
Yeah.
And then I think like I said, I just think that they underachieved last season. And now that they've got Eddie Lacy out of the picture and they got all this receiving core, Mason Crosby is money for them.
Oh, always. He's like the Mason Crosby is my favorite kicker. If I could get him in fantasy, I'm going to grab him. That's just the way I feel about Mason Crosby.
Well, he'll be available in around 15 or 16.
Right?
I'm just saying. All the mock drafts that I do, kickers don't go till around 15
No,
or 16.
I don't take kickers till like the last rounds either. But I always look for Mason Crosby or what's his face from the Ravens. What's that kid's name? I can't remember.
Justin Tucker.
Yes, Justin Tucker.
He's money too. Man.
Yes.
He's total money, that guy.
Yes.
And so is Matt Bryant.
Matt Bryant, yeah.
From Atlanta. See, the Giants got Mike Nugent. Mike Nugent's not a bad kicker either.
Bad.
But yeah, I think the Packers take that division. I actually think the Packers finish with the best record in the NFC.
At 12-4.
at 12-4.
You think they'll be the number 1 seed?
It'll be either them or Seattle.
Okay.
That's the way I'm looking at it right now. But we still got the NFC East. Is it? I mean, I got a feeling the Redskins and Eagles are battling for last place there.
Yes. Yeah, I think the Eagles are a little bit better than the Redskins. I think the Redskins end up being in last place, and that'll be the end of Kirk Cousins in Washington.
I think it's. I don't think it matters where they end up. I think Kirk Cousins is ticketed to go to San Francisco next year. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah.
And missing Ezekiel Elliott for the first 7 games of the season
It's going to hurt Dallas.
Yeah. It's going to stall Dallas's efforts to be a 13-3 team again this year.
Yeah, you got to trust. You got to put your running game on the back of Darren McFadden. I don't know.
Darren McFadden and what's the Alfred Morris?
Yes, Alfred Morris. Yes.
Anyway, they talk about that Cowboys offensive line, but they lost a couple of guys in the offseason.
Yeah.
So
I think Dak's going to be running for his life more this year than he was last year.
Well, he's going to have to because there's nobody else back there to run for him.
Right.
I mean, Des Bryant, he's going to have to step up. What's his name? Cole Beasley. Yeah. Witten's going to have to bring his geriatric ass.
And Witten's getting old, and he's had the injury bug the last couple of seasons. No, Witten hasn't missed a game, I don't think, but he's a little bit long in the tooth like you and I are. I mean, not our age, but still, he's a little bit long in the tooth, and it could end up being a slow year for him.
Okay, so let's see. I got the Redskins going 5-11, and I think the Eagles actually end up with the same record. I just think that the Eagles finish ahead of them.
I think the Eagles have a better record in the division. I think because I don't think Redskins can beat any of the teams in the division. I think they're going to have 6. I think they'll have 6 losses in the division alone.
Okay, so what are you putting the Redskins at?
Redskins, I'm putting at. I'm going to go extreme. I'm going to go 4-12.
Oh wow, that's a pretty big dip.
Yeah. They've got. What the
Their receiving core is not.
They've got Terrell Pryor. They brought in Terrell Pryor. Okay.
They got Pryor. They got Doxson.
Yeah.
And they got what's his name? What's the other guy's name? Crowder.
Yeah, Crowder.
Yeah, Jamison Crowder is his name. I think.
And who's the tight end?
And the tight end Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed. They got good receiving core. I just don't know if Kirk Cousins is going to stay on his feet a lot. I think he's going to be running around a lot. I don't think that offensive line can protect him.
I think they hurt the same way. They got no running game.
Yeah.
But I still see them going. A little bit 5-11. I don't know if they'll lose 12 games, but either way, the Eagles 5-11 is what I got them at.
I got them going 6-10.
I just, that start that Wentz had.
I'm not on the Wentz bandwagon just yet. I'm not there.
And rumor has it that they're talking about cutting LeGarrette Blount.
Really?
Yeah. I guess he hasn't performed in the preseason.
That's because he's not being massaged by that Patriot way anymore. He's in a different environment. So he's going to revert back to his old acting up ways, and I don't think the Eagles are going to stand for it, despite it being the Eagles, which surprises me, but still.
But I tell you what, I wouldn't sneeze at him if I was the Giants. If he's available, I would.
The shape that Giants running game is in, I'd pull him I'd grab him in a heartbeat.
Although that kid that they drafted from Clemson,
yeah,
he showed up a little bit
yeah.
in that second half against Cleveland. So, I mean, The Giants' running game is suspect.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
I think both those teams end up at 10-6. The
Dallas.
Cowboys
Okay.
and the Giants. But I think the Giants squeeze out the division because they beat the Cowboys 2 times this season.
I think I'm going to agree with you on that. I think they both end up 10-6. The Giants maybe 11-5, but 10-6 is good. I actually am leaning more towards 9-7 for the Cowboys because without Zeke in that running game, they can't ride the arm of Dak Prescott for 7 weeks. You just can't do it.
I'm still going to leave them at 10-6. You want them 9-7? You said?
No, we're going to go 10-6 both, but we'll.
Okay.
I think the Giants win the division by winning.
By the tiebreaker.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they tie-break their way into that. Now, according to this, you've got the Bucs with the best record in the NFC.
13-3.
12-4.
Oh, 12-4. Okay.
Yeah. So you have the Bucs as the number 1 seed, followed by. Now you got the Packers and Seahawks tied.
Do they
at
play?
11-5.
Do they play each other this year?
One way to find out.
Yeah, if they play each other, I'm going to tell me where it is, and I'll tell you who's going to be the better, who's going to win that game.
One way to find out. Yeah, it all depends on where it is too. Well, maybe you should have moved faster than mine. My shit is stuck on neutral over here. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Schedules by team. Where's the freaking choices at here? Scheduled by team. Where's Green Bay? Green Bay. There you are. Okay, so Green Bay. What the hell, man? They're not showing. Okay, here we go. Why they gotta put me through all this bullshit just to see a freaking schedule? Okay, here we go.
They're playing Seattle at home September 10th.
The first game of the season.
First game of the season. It's in Green Bay. Green Bay is going to be the better seed in the NFC. I think Green Bay wins that game at home.
You know, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. So you've got Green Bay as the 2 seed, Seattle as a 3 seed,
and Giants is the 4 seed. And I think Atlanta and Dallas are the wild cards.
Well, let's see. You've got 4 teams at 10-6 in second place. Well, 3 teams. You've got the Cardinals, the Falcons, and the Cowboys.
Okay.
2 of those 3 teams.
I still go with the Cowboys and Atlanta as the wild cards.
Dallas and Atlanta. Who finishes ahead in tiebreaker?
Dallas.
Okay, so you got Atlanta as the 6th seed, which means that the first round would be Seattle and Atlanta, and the Giants and Dallas would play in the first round. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. All right, so I've got Green Bay as the number 1 seed because they're going to finish ahead of Seattle, who's going to be the number 2 seed. I got Tampa at 3. 10-6. Well, I got the Giants.
Giants will be the 4 seed.
I got the Giants as the 4 seed. You know, this one might surprise you. This one just might surprise you. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Do the Cowboys play any of these teams this year? The Cardinals?
I don't know. I left the screen. I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, you know what? I'm just going to go with Atlanta. And I say Detroit sneaks in at number 6.
Cowboys get left out, huh?
I think Cowboys get left out. I think that they fall missing Zeke for the first 6 games. They could easily go. And what are their first 6 games? Let's take a look at that. Well, you'll probably find it faster than I will. Well, they're going to lose to the Giants in game 1.
Yeah.
They're basically going to be shit out of luck when it comes to their running game. They got a good matchup this weekend with the Raiders. Okay, so Dallas goes, yeah, you see Giants at Denver, which ain't no piece of cake.
No. Even with Trevor Siemian at quarterback.
At the Cardinals, another one that's not a piece of cake. So you see, then they got the Rams, then they host the Packers and the 49ers. So I think that they could go 2-4, 3-3, or 2-4 in those first 6 games.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see them winning Arizona. I think the Packers come into Dallas and beat them again there. I think they could beat the Rams at home and the 49ers on the road. The only other question I would have is at the Broncos with Siemian as the quarterback. I don't know how that's going to work out for them up there, but again, they're not going to have much of a – and the thin air up in Denver, man, that can really sap a team out if they're not used to that stuff. So
the game I have in question is the Arizona game, and they can go if they that's a toss-up game for me. Is that Dallas Arizona game? Even though it's in Arizona, I think that Week 3 game is a toss-up. But their Week 6 bye.
Look at the rest of their schedule. They got the Chiefs. They got to play at the Falcons.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they also have the Giants a second time. They got to go play at the Raiders and then play the Seahawks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a tough season for Dallas. That's a tough schedule.
That 10-6 might turn into an 8-8.
Yeah, real quick.
Which is why I'm leaving them out of the equation at this point.
Yep.
Unless something changes with Ezekiel Elliott.
There's Brett. What up, Brett?
Brett, you're a little late, man. We're about to sign off, homie. We did our NFC coverage today. But just to give you a little bit of a highlight, with after all the records are said and done, Scott has Tampa finishing first, Green Bay second, Seattle third, the Giants fourth, and the wild cards will be Dallas and Atlanta. I have Green Bay finishing first, Seattle second, the Bucs third, the Giants fourth, and I've got Atlanta and Detroit going in ahead of Dallas and Arizona.
Brett, I'll post the show up on Facebook when we get done. So I'll upload it to Facebook. You can watch a replay if you want. Well, man, back in the swing of things, I guess you could say, huh?
That takes care of the NFC. We'll do the AFC next Wednesday.
Sounds good.
And We'll see what happens. Well, by next Wednesday, we'll have already drafted too.
That's right, because the live draft is Sunday. You are correct.
So we'll get to be talking about some fantasy stuff next Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sounds like a winner, man.
All right.
Well, I guess I will holler at you later.
All right.
Good seeing you.
You
Great
too, brother.
being back in the swing of things.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to lots of fun in the sun in the football season here really quick.
Absolutely.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yes.
Game.
Yes, 15 days. 15 days to go, brother.
Till Kansas City and New England.
Yes. Yes.
And not to mention, I mean, go back to that Sunday. You got the Cowboys and the Giants. You got the Packers and the Seahawks.
Yes.
Dude,
that's a great week one right there, brother.
That's going to be a crazy Sunday, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me just check that week one real quick, see what kind of games they got going on before we sign off for the night.
All right.
All right. I don't want to see preseason, folks. Thank you very much. Let's get with the program here. Get that preseason shit out of here. Blah, 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 blah. Regular season. I don't even know why they bother putting preseason schedules up. Who cares?
Because it's football.
Okay, so that's awful. Jets at the Bills. Hey, is that the battle for last?
Yes.
Okay. Raiders and Titans. That ought to be a good game.
That'll be a good game.
Buccaneers at the Dolphins ought to be a good game.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good game. I think Miami's made some moves this year. I think Cutler ain't going to be bad. I just don't think he's going to take them to the promised land or nothing like that.
Oh,
Cardinals at Detroit.
That's
Falcons get a break. They get to play the Bears first, so that they get to start their season with a win. Steelers at the Browns. What are your Brownies going to do that first week against the Steelers?
It depends on who's quarterbacking. I don't know. That's we hardly ever play the Steelers first week of the season, so it's gonna be interesting for me.
Okay, so the 1:00 game I think is going to be the Raiders and Titans. Except for here, I think it's going to be the Bucs and the Dolphins here in Florida. Because I just don't see any other matchups that are worth putting on screen. Except for maybe the Ravens and Bengals. That's about the only other game I can see.
Well, the Bucs at the Dolphins.
Bucs and Dolphins is what they're going to show.
That's going to be the 1:00 game on Fox.
On Fox, yep. Which means they'll probably have a CBS game at 1:00.
Which means it's probably going to be the Jaguars.
You think they're going to show the Jaguars and Texans?
Yeah, I saw a lot of Jacksonville games.
No, I think they show Raiders and Titans, dude.
I don't know.
Raiders and Titans, that's the best game out of the 1:00 games. And then the 4:00 game will be the Seahawks at the Packers.
Yes, it will be.
And then the Sunday night game is the Giants at the Cowboys.
Yep.
And then we got a couple fucking duds on Monday night.
Yeah.
Although those Chargers-Broncos games usually turn out to be pretty good.
When you got Phillip Rivers going against the Broncos, anything can happen.
But I don't know about staying up till 1:00 in the morning.
No, I don't think so. Not on a Monday night. No. That when I got to work at 8:00 the next day, that ain't gonna happen. No. I'll be in bed before that ball gets kicked.
You'll be in bed before the opening kick is right. Yo.
I'll be in bed before the Saints and Vikings are off the air. That's what I'll be.
10:20? Not if it's a good game though.
I don't care. It's the Saints and Vikings. I don't care. It's an interesting game because Adrian Peterson plays his first game of the season against his old team. That's the only thing interesting about it. So
there's the twist.
Yeah. So
there's the twist. All right, man.
All right, we're gonna close it up. Brett, I'll have this posted on Facebook in a few minutes. You can watch a replay if you'd like to. Elliot, until Sunday night when we do our draft. I hate you. You have a great night, sir, and I will talk with you later. We are the Sports Nerds Network. Back in the saddle. Elliot and I are out. Peace.